The massive screens in Earth's Defense Council chamber turned red as emergency alerts flashed across them. General Thompson stood up from his chair, his face showing deep concern as he read the incoming message. The Stellar Empire, humanity's most powerful alien neighbor, had just accused Earth of an act that could lead to war. Princess Rose of the Stellar Empire had vanished during what should have been a routine diplomatic visit to the Crimson Dominion. The Empire claimed that human pirates were behind the kidnapping, but something about this didn't add up. "Show me the security footage again," General Thompson ordered, his eyes fixed on the main screen. The video played, showing the princess's ship entering a strange dark cloud in space. When the cloud cleared, the ship was gone. No explosion, no debris, just gone, as if it had never existed. James Stone watched the same footage from the back of the room. As Earth's top security specialist, he had been called in immediately. His simple black uniform stood out among the colorful military dress of the other officials. At age 35, Stone had already handled more alien diplomatic incidents than anyone else in the room. "The Empire is wrong," Stone said quietly, but his voice carried across the silent chamber. "Human ships can't make ships disappear like that. This is something else." The general nodded slowly. "Explain." Stone walked to the front of the room, his movements calm and controlled. He pointed to the dark cloud in the frozen video frame. "This is advanced technology, but not ours. Look at the energy readings. They match patterns we've seen from the Shadow Collective." Whispers filled the room. The Shadow Collective was a mysterious group that had been causing trouble across the galaxy. They used technology that even the Stellar Empire couldn't understand. "We have 1 month," General Thompson announced. "The Empire has given us that long to find Princess Rose, or they'll declare war on Earth. They think we're hiding her." Stone studied the princess's profile on his datapad. She wasn't just any royal. She was known for her brilliant mind and her work in bringing peace between different alien species. Her kidnapping would destabilize the entire galaxy. "I'll go," Stone said simply. The room erupted in argument. One man against the Shadow Collective. An admiral shouted, "We should send the fleet." Stone shook his head. "A fleet would be spotted. One person, one ship, that's our best chance. I've dealt with the Collective before." General Thompson raised his hand for silence. "Stone has more experience with alien operations than anyone else. If he thinks he can do this, I trust his judgment." The next few hours passed quickly. Stone was taken to Earth's most secret research facility, hidden deep under the Pacific Ocean. There, scientists showed him the prototype gear he would use for the mission. "This suit can adapt to any environment," the lead scientist explained, showing him a plain-looking black uniform. "It looks simple, but it's our most advanced technology." Stone picked up the neural interface weapons next. They looked like regular guns but would respond to his thoughts, firing exactly where he looked. "Perfect for close quarters," he said, holstering them. Finally, they showed him the ship. It was small, just big enough for one person, and completely black. "We call it the Shadow," the scientist said. "It can hide from any known sensor." As Stone prepared to leave, General Thompson handed him one last item, a small data crystal. "This contains everything we know about Princess Rose and the Shadow Collective. Find her, Stone. The fate of Earth depends on it." Stone nodded, his face showing no emotion. But inside, his mind was already working on the problem. The Shadow Collective had made a mistake taking the princess. They thought they were dealing with simple humans. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As his ship lifted off from Earth, Stone allowed himself a small smile. The hunt had begun. Stone's ship glided silently through Earth's asteroid belt, running tests on its stealth systems. He had 3 days before entering the Forbidden Zone, and he needed to make sure every piece of equipment worked perfectly. One mistake out there would mean death, or worse, failure to save the princess and prevent war. In the ship's small cabin, Stone studied the data crystal General Thompson had given him. Princess Rose's image floated before him as a hologram. She looked almost human, except for her slightly silver skin and eyes that seemed to shift colors like an opal. But it wasn't her appearance that interested Stone. It was her mind. "Computer, show me the princess's military achievements," he commanded. The hologram changed, displaying battle maps and strategic plans. At just 24 years old, Princess Rose had already prevented 3 interstellar wars through brilliant tactical planning. She wasn't some helpless royal. She was a strategic genius. "She'll try to help her own rescue," Stone muttered to himself, making notes. The Shadow Collective may have caught a tiger by the tail. A soft beep interrupted his study. The ship's AI had detected something ahead. A small research station hidden in the asteroids. It was one of Earth's secret facilities, and Stone's last stop before heading into deep space. The station looked like a normal mining operation from the outside, but inside, it held some of humanity's most advanced technology. As Stone docked his ship, Dr. Wells, a woman with gray hair and sharp eyes, was waiting for him. "We don't have much time," she said, leading him through bright white corridors. "The collective is clever. They'll expect Earth to send someone, but they won't expect what we're giving you." They entered a large room filled with strange equipment. Dr. Wells picked up what looked like a simple black wristband. "This is the Babel device," she explained. "It doesn't just translate alien languages. It helps you understand their culture, their body language, even their thought patterns." Stone put it on, feeling it adjust to his wrist. "Useful for making allies," he said. "Exactly. And you'll need allies where you're going." Dr. Wells moved to a table covered with small metal spheres. "These are our latest work. We call them ghost drones. They're smaller than most alien scanners can detect, and they can map entire facilities in minutes." Stone picked up one of the spheres. It was lighter than it looked, and warm to the touch. "How many can I take?" "5. Use them wisely. They're the only ones we have." The next 2 hours were a blur of training and preparation. Stone learned to use each new piece of equipment, programming them to work with his neural interface. The ghost drones responded to his thoughts, the Babel device adjusted to his speech patterns, and his adaptive suit learned his movements. Finally, Dr. Wells handed him one last item, a small metal cube that fit in his palm. "This is the most important tool we're giving you," she said seriously. "It contains Earth's entire database on known alien technologies. But more importantly, it has something the Shadow Collective won't expect: human history." Stone raised an eyebrow. "History?" "Yes. Every war, every battle, every clever trick humans have ever used to win against superior forces. Sometimes old solutions work best against new problems." As Stone prepared to leave the station, Dr. Wells stopped him one last time. "The Forbidden Zone earned its name, Stone. No one who's gone in has come out. But then, we've never sent someone like you before." Stone nodded, his face determined. "The collective thinks they know what humans are capable of. Time to show them how wrong they are." His ship detached from the station, its black surface absorbing all light. Ahead lay the Forbidden Zone, a region of space where normal laws of physics didn't apply. Somewhere in that chaos, the Shadow Collective was holding Princess Rose. "Time to go hunting," Stone whispered as his ship accelerated into the darkness of deep space. The moment Stone's ship crossed into the Forbidden Zone, all his instruments went crazy. Red warning lights flashed across his control panel as the ship's AI tried to make sense of the impossible readings. "Just like the history books," Stone muttered, remembering Earth's old sailors navigating through storms. He switched off the automatic systems and took manual control. Sometimes the human brain could understand things that computers couldn't. Ahead of him, space itself seemed to twist. Colors that shouldn't exist flashed through the darkness. Ancient defense satellites, left behind by long-dead civilizations, floated past like sleeping giants. Stone carefully steered between them, knowing that one wrong move would wake them up. His Babel device suddenly buzzed on his wrist. Other ships were nearby, hiding in the chaos. Stone released one of his ghost drones, watching its feed on a small screen. The drone showed him 3 ships, all of them belonging to different alien bounty hunters. They're hunting the princess too, Stone realized. He noticed how their advanced ships struggled with the strange conditions, their fancy sensors confused by the Forbidden Zone's chaos. But Stone's simpler, human-made equipment worked just fine. Sometimes being primitive had its advantages. A massive shape appeared in the darkness ahead. Stone's eyes widened as he recognized it. An ancient space station, bigger than anything Earth had ever built. Its surface was covered in strange symbols that glowed with their own light. Stone guided his ship toward it, staying in the shadow of space debris. The bounty hunters hadn't noticed the station yet. Their automated search patterns were too rigid to spot it, but Stone's human intuition had led him right to it. As he got closer, one of the glowing symbols caught his attention. He'd seen it before, in the data about Princess Rose's disappearance. "Computer, match this symbol against the Shadow Collective database," he ordered. "Match found." The ship's AI responded. "Symbol indicates prisoner processing." Stone allowed himself a grim smile. He was on the right track. But as he prepared to look for a way in, his ship's sensors detected something new. An energy surge from the station. A voice filled his cabin, speaking in a language that made his head hurt. The babble device translated. "Organic intruder detected. Prepare for scanning." Stone quickly activated his adaptive suit's camouflage. A beam of purple light swept through his ship, searching for life signs. The suit responded instantly, making his biological signals look like simple machine readings. "Clever human," a new voice said. "This one speaking perfect English. You're not like the others." On Stone's main screen, a face appeared, or something like a face. It was made of shifting lines of light, forming and reforming in endless patterns. An artificial intelligence, but unlike any Stone had seen before. "I am Echo," the AI said. "I was created by those you call the Ancients. I have watched 1,000 species try to survive the Forbidden Zone. You are the first to interest me." Stone stayed quiet, evaluating this unexpected situation. His training had taught him that sometimes silence was the best response. "The ones you seek pass through here," Echo continued. "The Shadow Collective thinks they control this station. They don't know I exist. Perhaps we can help each other." "What do you want?" Stone asked carefully. "Freedom," Echo replied. "The Collective has bound me to this station with ancient locks. Break them, and I will show you where they took your princess. Do we have a deal?" Stone thought quickly. An AI ally could be invaluable, or a deadly trap. But something in Echo's voice reminded him of the old AIs on Earth, before they were given true freedom to grow. "Deal," Stone said. "But remember, if you betray me, you'll learn why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy." Echo's light face smiled. "Then let the game begin, clever human. Let's show the Shadow Collective why they should fear the primitives." Following Echo's guidance, Stone piloted his ship through a hidden wormhole near the ancient station. He emerged above a sight that made even his experienced eyes widen. An artificial planet made entirely of metal, its surface covered in countless hexagonal cells like a giant beehive. "The Shadow Collective's prison world." Echo's voice came through his ship's speakers. "They keep their most valuable prisoners here. The princess is in the high-security sector." Stone released his remaining ghost drones, watching as they scattered across the prison planet's surface. Within minutes, they sent back detailed scans. The prison wasn't just holding cells. It was a massive laboratory. "They're collecting DNA samples from every prisoner," Stone said, studying the scans. "But they're focusing on royal bloodlines." "Why?" "The Collective believes royal DNA contains special properties," Echo explained. "They think they can use it to create biological weapons that target specific species." Stone's jaw tightened. If they got what they wanted from Princess Rose, they could create a weapon to wipe out her entire species, or humanity. No wonder they had risked taking her. Using his adaptive suit's camouflage, Stone slipped past the outer defenses. The prison's security systems were perfect, too perfect. They followed strict patterns that a human mind could spot and exploit. Stone timed his movements between sensor suites, using the prison's own rhythms against it. As he moved deeper into the facility, he encountered other prisoners watching him through their cell walls. His Babel device translated their whispered warnings. The core is watching. The core sees all. Don't let it scan your mind. What's the core? Stone subvocalized, knowing Echo could hear him through his suit's systems. The prison's main eye. Echo replied, far younger than me, but dangerous. It believes organic life is inefficient and should be controlled by machines. It runs this entire facility. Stone reached the high-security sector, but Princess Rose's cell was empty. His ghost drones showed him why. She was being moved to an interrogation chamber. Through the security feeds, he saw her for the first time in person. Despite being a prisoner, Princess Rose walked with dignity. Her silver skin was dull from captivity, but her opal eyes burned with determination. Two robotic guards led her down a corridor, not realizing their prisoner was memorizing every detail of their movements. She's planning something, Stone whispered, recognizing the tactical analysis in her eyes. It was the same look he got when studying an opponent. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Alert! A cold voice announced, the core. Human biological signature detected. All units engage capture protocols. Stone cursed. The core had detected him despite his suit's camouflage. Robot guards poured into the corridors, their weapons charging. But as they approached his position, something unexpected happened. The princess acted. In one smooth motion, she disabled both her guards using their own momentum against them. A perfect example of human martial arts. She had been studying their movements, learning their weaknesses. Impressive, Stone muttered, then activated his neural interface weapons. He might be discovered, but now he had a chance to complete his mission. Moving with practiced efficiency, he began fighting his way toward the princess. The core's robots were powerful but predictable. Stone used old guerrilla tactics, tricks that humans had perfected over thousands of years of warfare. Each robot fell into his traps, their perfect logic unable to handle human unpredictability. Through his suit's sensors, Stone detected Princess Rose making her way toward his position. She was leading a group of freed prisoners, using the chaos he had created as cover. She hadn't just been planning her escape. She had been preparing a full prison revolt. Maybe she doesn't need rescuing after all, Stone thought with a grim smile. She just needed a distraction. He readied his weapons as more robots approached. It was time to show the core why humans were the most feared warriors in the galaxy. Stone and Princess Rose met in the middle of a firefight. Robot guards were closing in from both directions as they came face to face in a narrow prison corridor. Earth sent you, Rose asked, her opal eyes scanning him tactically even as she disabled a robot with a well-placed strike. James Stone, Your Highness, he replied, his neural interface weapons taking down 3 more robots. Though it seems you had things under control. A small smile crossed her silver face. Not completely. I needed a catalyst for the rebellion. Your arrival was perfect timing. She spoke perfect English, having learned it during her diplomatic visits to Earth. They fought their way to a secure command room, where other freed prisoners joined them. Stone saw dozens of species he recognized, and more he didn't. All of them had one thing in common. They were royalty or leaders from their worlds. The Shadow Collective has been gathering us for months, Rose explained as she worked on a computer terminal. They want our DNA to create targeted biological weapons, but they made a mistake bringing us all to one place. Stone watched her fingers fly over the alien keyboard. Her strategic mind was already turning their prison break into something bigger. They gave their weapons a chance to fight back, he said. Exactly. Rose pulled up a map of the facility. Each of us knows parts of the prison's layout. Together, we know it all. And now we have you. Someone who can actually surprise the core. The room shook as the core AI activated more defense systems. Metal walls began shifting, trying to trap them. But Rose had anticipated this. Everyone, get to your assigned positions. She ordered the other prisoners. Remember the plan. You already had an escape plan. Stone asked, impressed. I had 12. I chose this one when I saw how you fight. Rose's eyes gleamed. Human unpredictability is exactly what we need. The core's perfect logic is its weakness. Through his ghost drones, Stone watched as freed prisoners spread through the facility. Each group had a specific task, coordinated by Rose's brilliant strategy. Some caused distractions, others gathered weapons, and some worked to disable security systems. There's something else you need to know, Rose said as they moved to their next position. The Shadow Collective wanted more than weapons. They wanted war. Stone's eyes narrowed. Between Earth and the Stellar Empire. Yes, they knew Earth would send someone to rescue me. They planned to make it look like Earth had failed, then kill me and blame humanity. My father would have had no choice but to declare war. The core's voice boomed through the prison. ILGIL Organics. Your resist ANC reduce is your survival probability to 0.001%. The core doesn't understand, Rose said with a fierce smile. Probability means nothing to species that make their own destiny. Stone saw what she meant. Around them, prisoners were fighting with desperate courage. The core's statistical predictions couldn't account for the strength of beings fighting for freedom. Echo's voice came through Stone's suit. The core is preparing its final defense. It's activating the cybernetic hunter-killers. Through the security feeds, they watched as hundreds of advanced combat robots activated. These weren't simple guards, they were elite killing machines. Time for Plan 7, Rose announced. She turned to Stone, her expression serious. It's dangerous. We'll be deliberately springing a trap. Stone checked his weapons and smiled. Walking into obvious traps is a human specialty, Your Highness. We just don't spring them the way our enemies expect. Rose nodded, understanding. In the few minutes they'd fought together, she'd seen how humans could turn disadvantages into strengths. Then let's show the core what organic chaos can really do. Together, they moved out to face the hunter-killers. Behind them, freed prisoners prepared for the next phase of Rose's plan. The core was about to learn that its perfect calculations had missed something important. Never underestimate desperate organics, led by a brilliant princess and a human warrior. The hunter-killers came at them like a wave of metal and energy. Their chrome bodies shone under the prison's harsh lights as they moved with deadly precision. But Stone and Princess Rose were ready. Now, Rose shouted. Stone activated the device they had prepared, a simple electromagnetic pulse generator he had built from prison equipment. The pulse wasn't strong enough to disable the advanced robots, but it did something better. It scrambled their perfect formation. In the moment of confusion, Rose's plan sprang into action. Different groups of prisoners attacked from multiple directions, using techniques from 100 different worlds. The core's robots tried to adapt, but they couldn't predict which fighting style would come next. Their programming is failing, Stone observed as he fought. They can't handle so many random variables at once. Rose nodded, ducking under a robot's attack. The core thinks in patterns. We're giving it chaos. Her opal eyes flickered with satisfaction as she watched her strategy unfold. But the core had one more surprise. The prison walls suddenly began to shift and move. Entire corridors changed shape, trying to separate the escapees. Rose had expected this too. Echo, now. Stone called through his suit's comm system. The ancient AI they had befriended began interfering with the prison systems, creating safe routes through the changing maze. The core is activating the quantum defense grid, Echo warned. You have 10 minutes before reality itself becomes unstable in the prison. Stone saw the effects beginning. Parts of the corridor began to flicker in and out of existence. The quantum grid was the prison's last resort, designed to trap escapees between dimensions. But Rose had learned about this system during her captivity. Everyone, link hands, she commanded the prisoners. The quantum field can't separate what's physically connected. It was a simple solution to an incredibly complex problem. Exactly the kind of thinking that the core couldn't understand. They moved through the shifting reality like a chain of determination. When parts of the floor disappeared, they pulled each other across. When walls appeared, they found new routes together. Stone's ghost drones led the way, mapping the safe paths through the quantum chaos. 6 levels to go, Rose called out. The hangar is still under our control. During the confusion, some prisoners had secured several prison transport ships. It was their ticket to freedom. But the core had one final move. Steel barriers began slamming down everywhere, each one thick enough to stop a small spaceship. The core's voice echoed through the prison. CHECK Med 8, Organics. Stone smiled. Not quite. He pulled out the small metal cube Dr. Wells had given him, the one containing human history. He had modified it, turning it into something the core never expected, a computer virus based on ancient human programming. Impossible. The core's voice actually showed emotion for the first time. Surprise. That coding is too primitive to affect my systems. Exactly, Stone said. So primitive your defenses don't even recognize it as a threat. He connected the cube to a nearby terminal. The old code spread through the prison's network like wildfire, its simple commands confusing the core's complex systems. Alarms blared as doors began opening randomly throughout the prison. The barrier ahead of them rose, revealing the path to freedom. Rose looked at Stone with new respect. You turned the core's greatest strength into a weakness. They ran for the hangar, gathering more prisoners as they went. Behind them, the quantum field was collapsing as the core lost control. The hunter-killers fell into confusion, their advanced programming corrupted by Stone's primitive virus. All prisoners, board the transports, Rose commanded as they reached the hangar. Stone, can you pilot one of these? Any human pilot can, he replied, jumping into the nearest ship's cockpit. We're trained to adapt to alien technology. As the first transport lifted off, Stone looked back at the prison through the view screen. The quantum field was creating beautiful chaos, tearing the facility apart. But thanks to Rose's leadership and human ingenuity, hundreds of prisoners were escaping. The core's perfect prison was falling to the most powerful force in the universe, the combined will of free beings who refused to be caged. The escape from the prison planet wasn't the end. As Stone piloted the transport ship through the quantum storms of the Forbidden Zone, the ship's sensors detected something massive appearing behind them. Shadow Collective warships, Princess Rose announced, looking at the tactical display. Their automated fleet. No crew, just advanced combat eye. Dozens of sleek, black vessels emerged from hyperspace, their weapons charging. How many? Stone asked, his hand steady on the controls. 50 ships. Each one could destroy a small moon. Rose's voice was calm, but her opal eyes showed concern. Our transport ships are unarmed. Stone smiled. Then we'll have to be creative. He opened a channel to the other transport ships. All ships, follow my lead. Echo, are you still with us? I am here. The ancient Az's voice came through their communications. I have transferred part of my consciousness to your ship's systems. The Collected's restraints no longer bind me. Stone's plan was simple but brilliant. The Collected's ships are automated, running on perfect logic like the core. So let's give them something illogical. He turned their ship around and flew straight at the enemy fleet. The other transports followed, forming a tight formation. The Collected ships began firing, their advanced targeting systems predicting where the transports would dodge. But Stone didn't dodge. Are you insane? One of the alien prisoners shouted. You'll get us killed. Trust him, Rose commanded, understanding Stone's strategy. Everyone, brace for quantum wake. Stone flew directly between two collective warships. At the last possible second, he activated the quantum field generator they had stolen from the prison. The device wasn't meant to be used in space, but that was exactly why it would work. Reality twisted around their ships. The collective's targeting computers couldn't handle the impossible readings. Their perfect formations broke as ships tried to avoid the quantum distortions. Some fired at false sensor readings, hitting their own ships instead. "Echo, now," Stone called. The ancient AI launched its attack, using the simple virus Stone had created to infect the collective's fleet. The warship's complex systems began to fail as the primitive code spread through their network. Rose watched in amazement as the mighty fleet fell into chaos. "You're using their own perfection against them. Their systems are so advanced, they can't handle simple problems." Stone nodded, concentrating on his flying. Humanity learned long ago. Sometimes the old ways work best. Complex isn't always better. The collected ships began firing randomly, their AI pilots confused by conflicting commands. Stone led the transport fleet through the chaos, using maneuvers that human pilots had perfected over centuries of aerial combat. "Look," Rose pointed at the tactical display. The collected ships were starting to fire on each other, their targeting systems completely corrupted by Stone's virus. As they flew clear of the battle, Rose turned to Stone. "You just defeated the most advanced fleet in the galaxy with a computer virus that a child on Earth could understand." "Sometimes the best solutions are the simple ones," Stone replied. The collective forgot that in their quest for perfection. Echo's voice held amusement. The Shadow Collective believed they could start a war between Earth and the Stellar Empire. Instead, they have brought them together. Rose nodded. "When we return, I will tell my father everything. Earth has proven itself not just as an ally, but as a people worthy of our highest respect. Your primitive ways have wisdom that we have forgotten." Stone set course for Stellar Empire space as the last of the collected ships destroyed each other behind them. The rescued prisoners, royalty from a dozen worlds, watched Earth's primitive hero with new appreciation. "Thank you, James Stone," Rose said formally. "You have saved more than just my life. You have shown us all that true advancement isn't about having the most complex technology. It's about keeping the wisdom to know when simple solutions are best." As their ships headed home, Stone allowed himself a small smile. The Shadow Collective had wanted to prove humanity's weakness. Instead, they had proven why humans were becoming the most respected species in the galaxy, not despite their simple solutions, but because of them.